Spotify is one of the largest music streaming services with over 406 million active users and over 180 million paying subscribers. With this in mind, it is fair to say that they have spent a lot of time and money creating a website that converts visitors into paying customers. In this video, I will show you how to create a Spotify website clone by using the SeedProd WordPress website builder. With absolutely no coding and no previous web development skills, you will be able to create your own fully functional websites by using Spotify's website as an example. Please let me know in the comments if you have ever built a website before or if this is your first time. I love hearing from you, and please remember to subscribe to the channel. So to start, I just have a basic installation of SeedProd. This is a fresh install and I haven't done anything yet other than under the media library. I've uploaded some of the graphics that we got from the Spotify pages that we'll look at in a moment. So here are the 3 pages that we're going to create today for the Spotify website clone. We have their front page here, which is pretty basic and simple. We have a header, a footer, and then this hero section, and it's a 2-tone color. We have some green and blue. We also have a second page here for premium section. So this is a little bit better of a landing and pricing page section that we can see. Now you'll notice that the color tones are completely different. They went with a blue, white, and some gray, and I assume this is them testing different things out. Now I'm on the Canadian website, so this may actually look different for you. And then the third page that we're going to look at, this is more in line with what I think of as the Spotify brand, is that black or gray and green color scheme. So we'll recreate this page as well. I'll show you how to do that. So we'll start by creating the header here. We'll create the sections in between and the footer. So we'll do the header and footer first so that they're included on every single page. And then we'll go through and create the 3 pages here. You'll notice that there is a support page here as well. So if we just take a quick look at that, you can see this is just some software that's included into their website. Now, if you want to do that as well for your website, you can check out this WP Beginner article called 9 Best Knowledge Base Plugins for WordPress, and this will compare the top plugins here. So we have Heroic KB plugin, we got Better Docs, Echo Knowledge Base, and more that you can look at here. I'll leave a link in the description to this article. And in this video, we're going to be creating the Spotify website clone using SeedProd. I just want to stress that this is for educational purposes only. To get a feel on how to create pages like this, you would of course change the graphics out and the color scheme and all of that to make it fit your own website. So let's come over to seedprod.com or click the link in the description below. You're going to click on Get SeedProd Now. You're going to select the account that makes the most sense for you. You want to make sure that you have a plan with the theme builder included. So that would either be the Pro or the Elite plan at the time of this video. Once you have an account set up, let's go ahead and click on Login. On the left-hand side, let's enter your email address, your password, and click on Login. And in the SeedProd account area here, we have a tab called Downloads. It's the second from the left. Let's go ahead and click on that. And let's go ahead and click on the orange button here to download SeedProd Pro. On the bottom left-hand corner, you'll need the license key here. Let's click on that icon to copy that to clipboard. And we can go ahead and close this tab. Let's come back to our WordPress here, and we'll come to Plugins on the left-hand side and Add New. And at the top, we'll go to Upload Plugin. Here we can see the Choose File button, so you can click this to select the zip file from your hard drive. Or if you're using the same browser as I am, you can click this and drag it right here and drop it, and click Install Now. Let's go ahead and click on Activate Plugin. And let's paste that license key right in here and Verify key. If everything went well, you should see a green success message, and we can close this tab at the bottom. Great, on the left-hand side, we'll see SeedProd Now with different sections. Let's go ahead and click on Theme Builder. And now we need to plan out our website. So these are your theme templates here that we'll see here, such as your header, your footer, your main page, etc. So again, if we take a quick look, we have a header file up here. So let's go ahead and start with that. If you don't want to start from scratch, you can click on Themes. And here you can get a head start that includes your header file, your main page, and your footer, etc. We're going to actually just do this from scratch. So let's go Add New Theme Template. I'm just going to call this Header. And we're going to select the type. And here we want it to be a header. We have different options, but for right now, just header. We don't need to set a priority because we only have one header at this time, and we'll include this on the entire website. Now the conditions, you can change these to include on certain pages, certain blog posts, categories, etc. Or you can exclude on certain pages as well. So maybe you only want this header to show on the front page and not every other page. Let's go ahead and save this. This is the SeedProd drag and drop page builder. So on the left-hand side, we have the blocks. We have template tags here. These are dynamic post blocks that we can drag into our page. For example, the posts that we can show, we don't have any blog posts currently, the post title, featured image, etc. If we come down, we have standard blocks as well. Right now we have WooCommerce grayed out because we don't have WooCommerce installed. We're not creating a store today. Here we have standard blocks for headlines and text, lists and buttons, everything you can think of, and advanced blocks as well. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. We just have one row up here at the top, and it looks like we have a logo on the left and then a menu on the right. So let's go ahead and recreate that layout. The menu will just include a few pages. We won't have all of the links here. So right here, we can see that we can click the button to add columns, and we have a left side and a right side. So we'll do 2 columns here. Now, the first thing we notice is that the background is black. So let's go ahead and change the black on the section here. That's the purple part. You'll see the blue, that's the rows and columns here. And then once we put a block in here, the blocks will be orange. We'll select the purple section and change the background color to black. Next, we want to add our logo here. So let's go ahead and get the image block. And here under standard, we have image. We can just drag that here and we'll click on it. And on the left-hand side, you can change the image. So you can use your own image or stock. We, of course, want to use our own logo. We'll go to the media library, and I already uploaded the Spotify logo right here that we can use. We can select that. Next, let's align that to the left side here under the alignment options for this image. Right, now we'll notice that this is a little higher than this one here. So let's go ahead and select that section again and come under advanced. We have lots of spacing options here. So let's open spacing. And we'll change the top and bottom margin to 0, even though that's not affecting anything right now. But the padding will change that all to 0 as well. And you can see that that got a little bit thinner for us. Let's go ahead and resize our columns, and we can click this and just drag this over so we have more room for our menu on the right-hand side. And we'll come back to our blocks, and we'll search for the menu block. So here we have a nav menu under advanced. We can drag and drop that right here. I'm going to select the blocks here and come under advanced, and we'll change that text color to white. There, we can see the links now. Now, normally you would go under your global settings here in the bottom left-hand corner. That's a file that you can see in the template files as well. And there you can set all of your default styles and colors for the whole website. But since this web design is different colors with blues and greens and blacks, we're just going to set our colors on the block level specifically. So each block that we pick, we'll just change the text colors there. So right here, we change this to white. And let's go ahead and change the typography a bit. We can see that these are a little bit bolder. Let's go under typography and edit, and we'll bold that style. We also have the alignment here. Let's set that to the right side, and we can close this. We can come back to the content on the left, and we have 2 options here for the type of menu that we want. We have the simple menu, or we have the WordPress menu. Now, we haven't created any. This will actually take you to the menu screen inside of the WordPress dashboard for menus, and you can set up your menus that way. Or you can use the simple version that SeedProd includes, where you can just put simple links in here to the pages that you created, and then you can edit that manually when you want to update it. So here we'll do 3 links. Let's do home. We'll add a new item. We'll call this second one premium. That'll be the second page that we create. And we'll link that to the premium page. Let's go ahead and add another one, and we'll call this download. That'll be our third page that we create. There we go. We have our 3 links. Now you also notice that the logo looks a little bit lower, or the links look a little bit higher. They're not even here. So let's go ahead and select the blue part here, and we'll select the options. And on the bottom right, we have vertical alignment. We can actually set this to middle, and you'll see that everything aligns perfectly in the middle here now. The other thing I'm going to do is just select the logo, and under the link, we'll just link that back to the home page as well so people can click on it. Okay, great. Let's save this, and let's close out. We'll hit the X here. Great, now we have our header file done. Let's go ahead and create our footer. So we'll add a new theme template, and we'll call this one footer, and we'll select a type, footer, and include it on the entire website. Let's click save. Again, that'll bring us here. Let's look what the footer looks like here. So here's the same type of thing. We have a logo, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, and we have 3 different menus here and another one at the bottom. So we actually have 4 menus total in this footer. So again, you could set up these menus inside of WordPress, or you could use the simple menu. We'll just use the simple menu for this example. Then we have some icons here and a little bit of copyright at the bottom. So let's go ahead and set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns here. Let's go ahead and click here to add columns, and we'll click 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the first thing we're going to do is change the section background here to black. So let's go ahead and change that. And on the left-hand side, again, we have the logo. So we can add that in here. We have the image block. We'll click and then select that logo. Next, we had a menu here with a little bit of text above it. So we had company, communities, and useful links. Let's look for the text block. We'll drop that in here, and we'll change this text to just say company. If we come under advanced, we can see the color. We'll change this to a gray color. We also want to go under typography, and we'll bold this. And maybe bring the size down just a little bit. So somewhere around maybe 13 or 14. And that looks pretty close to this, maybe even a little bit smaller. So the next thing we want to do is add these 3 links right here. So I'm just going to take the text block again, and we can drop that in here. But I'm just going to use the text blocks once per link instead of putting all of the links in one spot. The first one was called about. We can highlight that and click the little insert link here, and you can just put the URL to that page. Now let's come under advanced, and you can control the styles here. So we want to go ahead and bold this, and let's change that to white so we can see it. And I think that looks pretty good. The size is about the same. Maybe it's a little bigger. We can go under typography and maybe bring that down just a bit. Great, now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. And the reason I'm not putting it in just one single text block is because then we can control the actual spacing between these. So if I click on this one, for example, under advanced spacing, I can actually change the padding here. So I can put a padding of say 50, and now I can actually control the space underneath here. Right now, I actually like the default space that we're seeing. That looks pretty similar to what we see here. So I'm going to go ahead and add these two different text blocks right now. So jobs and for the record. Next, I'm going to do the links for these two sections as well. So we have communities and useful links. I can just duplicate this heading, drag this over, and I can do the same thing with the text blocks here. So we can reuse those instead of having to restyle them every single time. And then we'll just update the text here. Okay, great. So that's starting to look pretty good. If we compare it here, we can notice one thing is that the width of this is actually a lot greater than what we have here. So this is a little bit less width. Let's go ahead and save this and we'll close out. We'll come over to the global CSS. And again, this is where we can edit our styles. But I want to come under layout here, and we have the row default max width. This one increase this by quite a bit so that it's a little bit bigger. We have more space. Let's go maybe somewhere around 1300 even. Well, you can actually type that in or click this to put it up. Go ahead and save that, and we'll come back out. And we'll go back to the footer, and I'll edit the design. You can see that we have more space now. You can see that's wider, 1300 pixels. And if we compare that, it might actually be even a little bit wider than this now, but we'll keep that for now. So now what I want to do is actually resize these, and we'll bring this down, and we'll just bring the links over a bit, somewhere around here. And that gives more space to the icons in this block here. If we notice, there's a bigger chunk on this side. So let's go ahead. We'll get these three icons here. We have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Let's look for the social profiles block, and we'll drag that here to the right side. And here we can click on this to modify the look and what is actually included. So we had Instagram, I believe, was at the top. Then we had, was it Twitter? Twitter and Facebook. So let's go ahead and drag these into place. And we have YouTube. We'll just remove that for now. We have the default style, or we have the stack style. You have the different sizes, so small, medium, or large. I think medium. Let's see how big large is. That might actually work. And the alignment, I think, is to the right side. So we'll go ahead and align those over here. And again, we might take that width down a little bit because 1300 looks a little too much. Let's look at the templates here. We actually have one here that's similar to what is on the website here. So let's go ahead and click. And we can see that that looks very close to what we want. I also just want to mention, if you come back to the content, you can click on the settings for each one and put the URL to each social profile. Great, now let's come over to advanced, and we have the stacked, we have the icon color, we have the icon size. I think I do want these actually a little bit bigger, right around there. The border radius, the icon padding. So maybe we want that bigger, but the actual size a little lower. If we look, you can see there's more padding around here. Mine are actually quite a bit bigger than what they are on the other side. Let's go around here, bring the padding down. That looks good. And here we'll see we have two columns. We have a menu on the left and then some copyright on the right. Let's go ahead and on the row, add the add row, and we'll add two columns underneath. On the left-hand side, we want a menu. Let's go ahead and search for the menu. We'll add that on the left-hand side. We'll just advance text color white so we can see it. And we just have some text here on the right-hand side that we can add, just this little copyright. I'll just put that in with the text block. Great, so now I'll just update the menu items here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll go ahead and do that. We'll also change the color to this light gray instead of the white. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and save this, and we'll exit out of here. And now we should have our header and our footer. Our header, again, will be wider now as well because we increased that. Let's actually go ahead back to global CSS. I'm just going to put that down a bit. Under layout, we'll put this down maybe about 1200 or 1225, and I'll save that. Okay, great. Now we can actually create the content of the pages. So we have the header that's included on every page and footer. Let's go ahead and create the main page here. Let's go ahead, add new theme template, and we'll just call this front or main or home. And we'll select the type, and this is going to be a single page. And I don't want to include it on every page. I actually just want to include it on the front page only. Go ahead and click on save. And here we can see that it included our header and footer automatically, and that we create content in between here. So we actually just have one big section here, one big hero section with a background. We have one row here, one, and a button. So it's actually quite simple. Let's go ahead and start creating this. So we'll click the section and we'll add one section. And we want to add listening is, so we'll just take this text and we'll add a headline here. So if we come under headline, we'll take that block and drag it in. Let's go ahead and put that text in here. Great, so let's actually style this first part, and then we can duplicate it and just apply that to the word everything instead of doing it twice. Let's go under advanced and we'll go under typography. We'll definitely do bold, and we'll increase the size to be very large. Probably even want it quite a bit bigger than that. So maybe 125, we'll see where that is. And of course you might want to use a font that's very similar to this font as well. I think that looks pretty good. It looks pretty close. We're going to use this green color here. So we'll come back and change the color. And I'll paste that color in right here. That's 1ED760. And I think that's everything for that piece. Let's go ahead and we can align this to the left. And we can duplicate this, change this text to everything. And we'll align this to the right side. Now let's see how close they are together. So the E here is in the middle of the E here. So let's go ahead and we can actually change that by selecting the row. And on the left hand side, we have width here. So we can actually change the width just so it looks even here. Now it looks like it's actually a lowercase E. I'll just change that quick. There we go. Those match up pretty nicely. Next, we can actually put the background in. Let's select the section, and then under background image, use your own image. And again, I've uploaded this image from the website. We'll select that. And we'll do the background position. Let's do a full screen cover. And you'll only see certain parts of it based on the screen size that you're looking at. Right now, we can only see the part on the right-hand side. Once the height goes up, we should see more of that as well. So let's go ahead and we have text line here. So we'll look for the text block. Let's drop that underneath and we'll update the text. Let's center that and change the color to the green. I'd actually bold this as well. Looks like it's a little bit thicker. And we can bring the spacing down a bit. So we have a little bit of spacing in between here and not much here. So let's go with spacing. And we'll use the margin top here to add maybe 20 pixels or so. Great. Underneath that, we have a button, get Spotify free. Let's go ahead and get that button. Look for the button block. And we'll drag that underneath. Go ahead and click and update the text. Great, we can come under templates here. We have different options here. We actually have the pill button. Let's go ahead and click that. And that's similar to this button here. Next, let's come under advanced and we can update the background color to this green. Let's click on typography and bring the font size down. So it looks somewhere around there. It's not a very big button. Let's go ahead and change that text to blue. We'll come under content and button. We'll select this text and you can click on the toolbar toggle to select the text color here. And we'll select a blue that's matching the background here. Next, we have some space on the top and the bottom, quite a lot of space. So let's click that section again, go under advanced and spacing. And we want the padding on the top. Let's do maybe 100 and 100 on the bottom. I actually think it's more than that, but we'll just start with 100. And you can see a little bit more of that background image. There we go. I'm going to increase this to 150 instead. The only thing I want to change is maybe this text looks bold. Let's just make that a little bit thicker. And I think the spacing's okay. Maybe we'll put 25 on that as well. So advanced spacing margin on the top, we'll put somewhere around 20 or 25. I think that looks good for 20. So there you go. We have our front page. Let's go ahead and save this and we'll close out. And if we check our front page, you'll notice something that it's not actually active yet. So to activate the theme that you're building, you can enable the SeedProd theme here on the top right-hand corner. Let's go ahead and turn this on. And this is just going to tell you that it's going to set your static home and blog pages for you by default in the settings. It's just going to take care of that for you. There we go. We can see our header that we created. Now this, again, will be on every single page. Here's our front page. So we have our hero section with the text that we created. We have our button. Of course, you'd link this to wherever you want to link it to, probably your download page. And we have the footer that we created, which I believe we actually forgot some spacing now that I look at it at the top here. So we could just add a little bit of padding here and maybe a little bit at the bottom as well. So we can just go ahead and do that real quick. You should know how to do this by now. We'll click on the section, advanced, come under spacing. We have the padding here, so we'll add maybe 50 on the top. And it doesn't look like there's as much on the bottom. We'll do maybe 25. We'll save that. Now you can just see how quick and easy it is to make changes to your website using SeedProd. So there we go. That's looking pretty good. We have 2 more pages to go through quickly. So we have premium and we have download. So let's go ahead and attack those. So we can close this window for now. We're going to create the premium page here. We have that blue color scheme with the white and the black text and buttons. So we're going to start with the top here, but first we need to create our premium page. Let's come outside and we'll come into the pages and we'll add new. So here we'll just name this premium and we'll save this or publish it. So I'll go ahead and publish this since it's not an active website. And next I just want to click on edit with SeedProd. There'll be a little warning here. I'm just going to hit OK. And now I can build out the middle of my page here for the premium page. So here at the top, we have the blue section here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows here. We'll do a single column here, and then we'll need a second single column. And then we have 2 here. We'll try to get 2 columns like this on the left-hand side. And because we want 2 buttons side by side, we'll actually resize this and we'll bring this over close like this. We can put 1 button here and then 1 button aligned to the left up against it. Next, we need the little terms here. So a little bit of text at the bottom. So we'll just do a single column as well. All right, so let's go ahead and put our actual text and content in here. First, we have the text here for the headline. I'm going to use the headline block here and include that in the top. We'll align this to the left and I'll update the text. Let's come under advanced so we can change the typography and the color. So because the text is actually white, let's go ahead and change the section background to this blue color. So for this one, I'm going to use 0074E4, and then we can change the text on this headline to white. I'm going to edit the typography to bold it, and you can change the font if you like to something that's more similar. All right, I'm going to duplicate this and bring this down to the second row, and we'll update this, the content. First, we'll change the text. For me, it says just 99 Canadian a month after. Cancel anytime. Next, I'm going to change this to maybe an H2 or even an H3. I'll take off the bold, and I'll bring the font size way down as well. We'll go somewhere around right here. Great, now we have 2 buttons. We have Get Started and View Plan. So let's go ahead and get the buttons in here. You look for the button block, and I'll drag 1 in here. We'll select that, and this is a black button, I believe. Let's change the text to Get Started. And we have some templates here. We'll use the pill button again, and we'll go under Advanced, and the background color was black. Now I know the text was smaller there, so we'll change that. Under the typography, we have the font size, so we can bring that down quite a bit. If you want this to be a little bit wider, you could use the horizontal or vertical padding. The horizontal will make it wider, vertical make it taller. So we'll bring that down, leave that around 20, and then the horizontal, we'll try to get that as wide as we can, maybe around 40. Then of course you come under content and you can link your button here as well. Let's go ahead and duplicate this and we'll bring this to the right side. This time I'm going to align this to the left-hand side so these are a little bit closer. The buttons look like they have some spacing, so if you select one and come under Advanced, Spacing, and Padding, let's select 0, and we'll do the same to the other one here as well. This way we can get them a little bit closer together, and we can update this button. I'm going to change the background color to the same color as the background behind it, and then this time we're actually going to add a border around it, so we can increase this, and we can change the border color to white. So this will look a little taller than this one now, so we could actually take the vertical padding and just bring that down a bit so it's even with the button on the left-hand side. Let's change the text to View Plans. And there you go, you get 2 buttons here side by side that you can use. Lastly, let's just add the little terms and conditions here. And for this, we'll just use a text block. So text, we'll pull that right in here. Go ahead and update that text. Next, we'll change the color to white and we'll bring that size down. Lastly, there's just a little bit of spacing on the top and we have a little bit on the bottom. Let's select the section here and go under Advanced, Spacing, and we'll change the top padding to maybe about 50, maybe even a bit more to 70. And the bottom we'll put down around 50, and we'll take the padding off the left and right side. Great, so there's the Spotify version, and here's our version of it that we created quite quickly. Next, let's go ahead to this WYGO Premium section. So by now you should be getting the gist of how to use SeedProd, and you should be able to set up this section by yourself pretty easily. We have a white section. We have a headline here with a font, probably bold. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different columns with an icon or an image. I just downloaded the images. And then underneath each one, we have a little bit of a headline and some text. So let's go ahead. Maybe if you want, you could go ahead and pause the video and try that for yourself. I'm going to go ahead and create that right now. So right here for a new section, let's go with a plus sign and we'll just use one section, one row, and we'll use a headline for the top part here to add the text WYGO Premium. Great, let's go under Advanced Typography and we'll change the font to a font that you like. We'll bold that and make it a certain size that looks similar to this. That looks good to me. Next, we want a new row. We'll add the plus sign for the row and we want 4 different columns. I'm going to add 4 different images in each one. So here's the first one. I'll select that and use your own image. So I'll select icon 1 and put that in here. And I'm just going to duplicate that into each section here. Great, now I'm just going to select the proper one here. So we'll update this. Look for icon 2, 3, and 4. Great, so these actually look a little bit wider than they do here. So let's actually select that row. We'll select the blue and change the width. You can actually bring these in maybe a little bit closer than what they were, somewhere around here. Next, we want text under each one, a headline with a little bit of text underneath the headline. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to add a headline block, make it smaller, and then add the text here. So let's go ahead and do that. So under typography for the headline, I just have my font size at 22, and I bolded that and changed it to Tahoma. That's the font that I'm using currently. I'll just duplicate this 3 more times, and we'll drag that over, and we'll just update the text for each one of these. Right now, we'll just look for the text block. We have text underneath here. We don't need all of that. We'll make that smaller, delete that, and just put the little line of text that each one has here under each specific section. Again, I'll just duplicate this 4 times, and I'll push them under each headline for each part. Great, that looks good. So here we have the finished product. We can actually select some of these headlines, advanced spacing, and if you have too much spacing, you can change that to 0 around them, and then you can manually control how much spacing. I'm just going to leave it how it is, though. I think that actually looks fine for me. Next, let's just change the section. There's a little bit of space on the top and bottom, so let's go ahead and add maybe 50 on the top and bottom. 50 here, 50 on the bottom. That might actually be a little bit more, maybe around 70. Great, that looks good to me. Let's go ahead and check out the next section. Here we actually have a pricing plan with different packages. We have the gray background with a headline, some text, and then the price. So let's go ahead. We actually have a pricing table block built into SeedProd here that we can actually use. Go ahead and get a new section going, and we'll just start out with 1 row to begin with. This will be our headline. We can just kind of lay this out easily. Let's go ahead and put that here. We'll change the background to that light gray so we can see the difference between the sections. And then there's a little bit of text underneath there, right? So we'll take text, we'll drop that in, and we'll just get rid of most of that. We'll just leave this how it is for now, and then we'll put in our pricing table. So this is a quick way where you can kind of sketch out different layouts as well quickly. So that puts in 1 big block, just so you know, instead of having multiple. So we actually don't want that. So let's actually delete this, and then we can come under the row. And if we want 4, we can put 4 rows, and then we can put that pricing table into each one here. Let's take that block and we'll drop it in. Then we can update our package here. So in my opinion, ours actually looks nicer than Spotify's, but I'm sure they do lots of testing on different designs as well. So whatever works for you. So here you just click on the block settings and then go through all of your plan name, your price, the currency symbol, the period. You have different description options and show top button, call to action, lots of different options here. I'm not going to go through every single detail here. I'm just going to update this, duplicate it a few times, and change the pricing for this example. Let's go ahead and center this text. I'm going to update the headline and the text underneath it. There we go. I actually styled this a little bit different than what the Spotify one is. We put the rounded border radius. We put a nice little design in here with the gray and the white border. And we also made this a little bit smaller with a lined left feature list. And now we can just go ahead and duplicate this and drag one over to the right side and keep doing that and changing the features list and the pricing and the package name for each one. Now, all of these options are available under the settings for the advanced. You have options for the header, buttons, price, features list, block, spacing, attributes, and device visibility under each one of these sections. Okay, great. Let's just select this section, go under advanced spacing, and we'll just add a little bit of spacing to the top and bottom. Go ahead and save this, and we'll close this out. So if we check out our website, we have our front page, we have our header, the hero section, footer. Now, if we click on premium, you'll see that we don't have the template found. Now, we created the page, but we didn't tell SeedProd what to do with it. So if we come under SeedProd theme builder, we're going to add a new template here, and we'll call this page or main page or whatever you want to call it. And this will be the default theme that we use for all of our pages that we created. So we'll go under type and we'll select this single page, and we'll include this template on all of our pages, which includes the premium page that we just created. So this will help include the header and footer and set up our template for us. Let's go ahead and save. And here we can customize the template. So here we have the header. The content will be included in the middle, and then we have our footer. You could also add a sidebar to all of your pages or whatever you want. Again, this isn't the page itself. It's just a theme template. Let's go ahead and save and exit. When we come to the premium page, this will now load perfectly fine for us, where we can see what we just created. So we have our header. Here's that top section. Why go premium? Our pricing plans, and then our footer. So great. Now we have 2 pages completed for our Spotify website clone. So now that we have our page template set up, we actually only need one of these for every single page that we want to create. Now that doesn't include blog pages or certain specific areas of your website, such as your search results or your archives as well. That's a different template. But our download page is going to be another page. So now that we have the page template set up, we can come under pages and add new. We can just add a download page and we'll publish this. We'll edit with SeedProd here. So here we can see our header and footer again, and then whatever we put in here, this will be our page. So how about again, you go ahead and pause the video, and I think by now you should be able to create a page like this. So I'm going to go ahead and add a top section here, and we have 4 different rows, an image, headline, text, and button. So we changed the background here. Let's add a little spacing right off the bat. Looks like it's about 50 to 70 again. So the top 70, right 0, bottom 70, left 0. Next I'm going to add an image here. We'll select that image that I uploaded, which was a laptop, and we'll select that. Next, we want a headline that says download Spotify. Use the headline block right underneath. We'll update the text, go under advanced typography. Now I'm picking up the speed a little bit just because I think you should probably understand how this works by now. That looks pretty good to me. And we want a text block underneath here. Go ahead and drag that underneath and we'll update the text. We'll center this. There we go. That looks good. Next, we want a button here. We have our button block and we'll drag that over. We'll use the pill button template. We'll come under advanced. We'll change that to a white button and we'll change the text to download. Under advanced typography, we can bold that a little bit, but bring the font size down. Again, if you like, you can make it wider by changing the horizontal padding. Maybe we'll add 30 or 35. Great, let's go ahead and add a new section underneath here. And we want to put the bring your music to mobile tablet too. So again, we'll just use a headline here with some text and then 3 images here. I'm going to change this headline to an H2 and we'll bring the size down, the font size, bring it down right around maybe 20. I think that'll look fine. Maybe a little bit bigger, 22, 23. And then again, we have some text here. So we'll copy this and bring it back. And we'll put this inside of a text block. We'll center that. And now we want 3 different images here. So let's go ahead and add a row. And we want 3 rows. And we'll put 3 different images inside here. So just a simple image block. And we'll select that first image, which is the Apple App Store. Now we have our second one, so we can just duplicate this twice and pull those over into these columns. Great, let's select the second button, which is Google Play and Microsoft. Great, now we want these buttons to be close to each other. So again, we're gonna resize these columns. We'll bring this one in close to the center, to the middle one. And then we'll just align the left and right so that they come closer in towards the middle. Now I actually left some white space around the images that you can't see, so I can't get rid of that padding. But for each block, you could come under advanced spacing and get rid of the padding for each one of those. Now you just want to link these, so it's just a basic image. So you can change the link to go to the Apple App Store, Google Play App Store, and the Microsoft Store. Let's go ahead and change the spacing to the top and bottom here. We'll add 50 to the top and 50 to the bottom. Great, let's go ahead and add our last section here. Again, this is one image on a gray background with just a simple headline and then some links here. Let's create a new section, 1 row, and we'll change that background to a dark gray right around there. And I'm going to include a image block and we'll include the devices image right here. So that uses more of a slate gray. Let's select that background color again and I'll paste that color in as 222327. Let's go ahead and just add that padding right off the bat here for the top and bottom of the section. We'll do 50 or 70, whatever looks better for you. Next, we have this one account listed everywhere. We could actually just duplicate this maybe, and we could bring it down. I think it's actually a little bit bigger font size. Let's change that to white and just bring that up just a little bit. That looks pretty good. The last thing we want are these links at the bottom here, and this looks like a list. We actually have a list block here that we can drag to the bottom. Go ahead and just change that color to white so we can see what we're looking at. And if we come back to the front, we have different options here. So we have the icon that we can click on and we can actually change this, maybe circle or dot, whatever it is. I think there's one here. And you can actually change the icon color if you wish. So we could change it to this green color. And let's update the first option here, mobile. And you can change the font size and space between. Under advanced, we have the list layout. Now we don't want a vertical. So if we add another one, it'll go up and down. We actually want to change this to horizontal so we can see that the list is going this direction. We also want to align this to the middle so all of them are aligned with the middle of this whole section. I'm just going to update this with each link here, each piece of text. And there you go. So it doesn't look exactly like the version on the Spotify website, but this is Looking pretty good in my opinion. I actually think this is a little bit nicer. And then of course you can link to whatever you wish inside of each element here. So if I click on this and come over to content, you see each element. You can actually just select one and highlight it and just link to it right here if you wish. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and save. We've completed all of our pages that we're going to create. We'll come back and check out our live website. So here's our Spotify header. We set up the front page with the hero section with a nice call to action. We have a nice footer layout here that we created. And if we come up to the top, we have this linking to our home page, same as our logo, as well as a premium page, which now we set up with our buttons, a little hero section here, call to action. Why go premium with different options here? We have the pricing tables that we set up that look really great. And as well as our download page that we just set up where we can download the actual app. So again, you could change this to modify it to your own app or your own service or product or whatever you're using for your website. But now you have the skills to create a basic 3-page website like this. You can create even more pages or more sections if you like. Now that you know how to create a Spotify website clone, maybe you would like to check out this video on how to build a Netflix landing page clone with WordPress. By the end of these videos, you will be well on your way to creating incredible websites. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.